Welcome to another episode of the Pillow Fright Podcast. I'm Alyssa.
I'm Kay.
And I'm Emma.
And we are your three besties here, keeping you in the loop with all that is horror, including the early aughts.
Ooh.
Speaking of which, let's get a little nostalgic for those aughts. Where were you in 2005? Specifically, 2005.
Oh, no.
It's my favorite answer already.
I was in college. I was in my first year at photography art school in Boston. I went to a lot of hardcore shows. I wore white belts and I had the bangs that went like that.
Was this when you were in your band?
I was a little before that. We don't talk about that.
Right, that's all I'm going to say.
I was really into Fall Out Boy, and yeah,
That's okay.
It was a time.
Could be worse.
It was a time. I think I wore some Vans and some rolled up jeans that I don't know why we did that. Why was that a thing?
Isn't it a thing again?
Is it?
I don't know.
Are scene kids a thing again?
Or not full scene. People aren't doing
It's like a mix.
multicolored, like patched hair with like leopard spots on your bangs. That was a very specific, what do they call it now? MySpace style?
It's like MySpace.
Scene
yeah.
kids. Yeah.
Were you straight edge?
I was straight edge, yes. Straight edge hardcore.
Straight edge hardcore.
Boston hardcore. Yeah. I did a lot of moshing and kicking girls in the face. For
Cool.
some reason at that point in my life, I was not very like feminist. I was kind of like not that I had the views of women should be like at home or anything, but I didn't like other girls. I didn't want to be around other girls. I went skateboarding and I went to punk shows, and anyone else that went to shows that was a girl must be there to hook up with dudes, even though I wasn't there to hook up dudes, but I put that on them. So there's some weird, at that point in my life, there was a lot of internalized misogyny that I had to work through still.
Yeah, 2005 was an interesting time for the each side of the cliques. Not cliques, I wouldn't say cliques, but the scenes. The scenes were...
Where were you? What were you doing?
What was I doing? I was tap dancing. And I'm not kidding. I was tap dancing in 2005. I graduated high school early. This was my second year in community college. I was dancing like 8 hours a day. I got mono, and it all went downhill from there. I was doing a lot of musical theater. I was a very innocent little kid who just loved musical theater and danced a lot, acted a lot, and got mono, and then slept for 10 years. Still am. Mono, baby.
Okay.
Not fun.
No, I was a scene kid though. Yeah. But I was too poor to be a scene kid, because that was like expensive. You would buy a lot of stuff to be like a real scene kid. But I guess I was a thrift store emo. So.
Yeah, but the real emo kids were thrift store emos. Like, if you wanted like the cool, like ironic shirt, you had to get it at Goodwill.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I wore a lot of children's tees,
Yes.
which that was like a big thing, I guess. So I like Superman tees and kids.
Oh,
Kids-
yeah.
Same.
Kids t-shirts,
Yeah,
multiple
large.
colored, where you put the red underneath the bangs, like the multicolored hair and all that stuff. And it was definitely just like a lot of only time I would get funds if I saved up a lot of my after school job, and I would save up and I would go to the alley in Chicago, and that's when I would get the stuff I really wanted. Everything else was thrift, but that's where I get my plaid and get the actual punk stuff, because I definitely was not going to be allowed to buy it if my mother knew about it. It had to be stuff that I hid in my closet, and I rebelliously cut my hair. But yeah, it was a very interesting young time of being, I don't know.
Do you guys remember those hats that were like, they're military, like they're very square hats that dudes were wearing at that time?
Oh, wait.
They were like, you could get them in the surplus store. I don't know if I've never seen a military person actually wear them, but they're like very square, like camo or black hats. And I used to you'd see guys wearing those at shows. You'd be like, oh, he's going to spit kick you to death.
I don't remember those hats.
I mean, the fashion, especially in the movie that we're going to talk about today, was like, why did the dudes all get to be so freaking comfy?
Yeah.
And then the women are wearing the lowest of low cut jeans
Yep.
and the Uggs. And the closest thing to comfort that one of the characters wears is a Henley, which is why I was like, I want to wear that. Because other than that, I'm not, I don't own any velour. I don't own nothing with a name
Juicy.
printed on my butt.
Yeah.
The things that I'm so glad have not come back yet are the juicy sweatsuits.
Yep.
And the like obnoxious trucker hats. Ed Hardy, stay in 2006, sir.
Like, all the-
God, too much.
I will say this was not a great time growing up fashion wise if you were somewhat of a curvy girl. This was not a fun time. So Hot Topic was great though. They were inclusive.
Oh, well, I was at that point in my life because I was very, very active. I was a very fit girl. But even then, those pants, like your ass crack, just hung out all the time. No matter what. Like I just remember just constantly like trying to pull them up every time you sit down. You have to grab them.
Yes, low cut pants.
Oh,
man.
those can
Wait.
also stay in the aughts.
No, they're back already.
Oh
Nah.
no!
I think the high cut was like, it's much better in general, but then there's the difference between like mom jeans versus, I think 70s high cut is where we should have, like high rise bell bottoms. That's my favorite, but the flared jeans that are like super, super, super low where you have the Tara Reid and the Paris Hilton.
The bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 2005 Britney though, she can get it.
Yeah.
I just remember sucking in all the time wearing those pants. Like just constantly, no matter what, no matter how, and like at that time, I don't think I realized that I was very fit. I think I thought I was fat. And like, I just constantly just sucking it all in.
Yeah. If you weren't a pinky, then and I think that residual, that's like residual from today, constantly like tucking in. Whoa. Ugh. Thanks, 2005.
I think one of the things where I saw in the thing I was like, oh, why did we do this? Was the layered tank dress over jeans.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we all did.
I did that.
And those lace camisoles. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
many of
God.
those. I had like 80 colors.
Like
when
the
I got
corsets too, like the weird
Oh,
short
yeah.
corsets.
those were interesting.
Yeah, but it's still that all blends together. It was all terrible. And I was such a good tomboy at this point in my life too, that whatever I wore was probably very awkward.
Avril Lavigne punk versus
Oh yeah.
No, I definitely was. I was more like by 2005, 2006, I was listening to like Bad Brains and Gorilla Biscuits, and
Yeah.
you know, then I liked all that sort of. I liked a lot of emo-y stuff. I loved Taking Back Sunday and Fall Out Boy.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't tell anybody. I'd just be like,
yeah.
I was-
Saves the day.
Yes.
The song will become the anthem of. That was like 2004, I think.
that wasn't even
Rather.
their best album. Through Being Cool is their best album.
Oh man.
Oh, Emo Night recreated the cover for that, and you got to pose it in front of it.
Oh,
We did
that's
the
so
whole
fun.
Getting a group together to be all the different people in the band. I loved it. I feel like that was my style, is I wanted to be the girl in every music video. That's when I would try to go to the thrift store. I was like, I want to be the girl that the band is like, the lead girl in the music video. That's all I wanted to be. The guy, whatever drama she had. But I wanted to be the girl in the Taking Back Sunday fight club. Oh, actually, everyone wants to be the girl in the Taking Back Sunday fight club video. But still.
I was crying to Dashboard Convention.
Oh, we all were
On your mixed CD.
Oh, mixtapes. You guys remember mixtapes? I gave a lot of boys mixtapes.
Yep.
No, Napster, and you download your own, and you had to flip through in your
Your CD case.
Yeah.
You still keep your discs like that, which is
it's my
bonkers to me.
DVDs though. I don't know where my
To
CDs
be
went.
fair, I have one too with the DVD.
It's because I was dumb and I wanted to save space, and I got rid of all of the actual covers, which if I hadn't, I would still have Dogma, but that's going to be re-released now. So it's not even, before that was like, oh my God, you have Dogma. But now they're, finally that movie's going to get released. So it's not as big a deal. But that was the one where I was like, what a dumbass. But it does save a lot of space. And I had to choose between DVDs and comic books. Guess what won? If you go to my apartment.
Oh, well, we should probably get into it. Right, Pillow Frighters? As September winds down and we get ready to enter the season we horror fans wait for all year long, we'd be remiss not to leave you with one more haunt season scare. And we've saved a true slumber party classic for last. House of Wax 2005. So without further ado, let's watch Paris die.
That's hot. I will say, though, I really wish we did this as a slumber party because I really wanted to wear Watch Pairs dye shirts.
Oh my gosh, Cavity Colors makes them right now, and I really want one.
I want one so bad.
A gang of college friends, including Wade and his girlfriend Carly, are en route to a... Why does that mess me up? En route. En route. But it is en route, but I don't like that. I don't like that.
I didn't write this.
I know. No.
The...
En route. It's this is literally me tripping up on en route versus they are en route, but they're en route. But like, why? Anyway, okay. A gang of college friends, including Wade and his girlfriend Carly, are en route to a school football game where they wind up with a flat tire. But they don't have a flat tire. It's a fan belt.
I'm telling you, this is literally what came from the synopsis. If you'd like to change it to fan belt, you can.
But it is a fan belt. They don't have a flat tire. It's wrong. I mean, wait, can I put a star? It is not a fan. I don't want people to think I don't know this movie.
Well, then change it. I don't know. It came off the back of the box.
Why is the box wrong?
Keeping this all in.
Box is wrong. Okay. Car trouble in a ghost town. I'm going to say that. Okay, there we go. When they wind up with car trouble in a ghost town, they are forced to seek help in the only place that's open, the local wax museum. Once inside the spooky and seemingly abandoned building, they find the works on display are not quite what they seem, and the group soon discovers it's being hunted by the insane twin brothers who run the museum. Did who write this movie?
Right there.
Right there. Did who write this synopsis not see the movie? Do they not know the movie? This is not the movie. They don't go for help in the wax museum. They go for help in the church. Whoever wrote the synopsis had not seen this movie. And I'm miffed. I'm miffed about it.
Wow. All right.
Whoever did this, I'm mad at you. I love this movie.
God, fine. It was me. I'll go. Jeez.
How dare you? Case can't tell, this movie is my little trash treat.
Hey, liking a movie from the 2000s? No way.
Inconceivable.
These are my nostalgia, and you will. I mean, you're gonna hate them. I don't care. I love this. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I don't hate this movie. In fact, I went to opening night of this movie, and it's the first time I can remember being in a theater with a rowdy crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I worked at the local Boston AMC at the time, so we got free tickets.
Nice.
And we had great seats. And I remember at the time AMC let you bring in outside food, so I brought in Cold Stones. Don't know what this has to do with anything, but it was my first time trying birthday cake remix, and it was delicious.
Ooh.
True story.
Yes.
And this movie came on, and the crowd went wild for it. It was a packed house. And I distinctly remember Paris Hilton's death scene getting a giant reaction. Like, people were like standing up and clapping.
So good.
But it's also one of those things, like, you think about it now, you're like, wow, that's really messed up. Like, this entire movie's marketing strategy was around watching Paris Hilton die.
The fact that she's like, that's hot, cool, let's do it.
But she knew. Yeah, she was fully on board. She's the first person that was cast in this movie.
She knew how smart that would be.
It's not just her death, though. You can tell that role and like the certain things that they do throughout the movie. There's no way she was not like, yeah, no, that's 100%. Let's do this.
You know, it's interesting. I don't think this would happen in 2024, probably for the better. I think it's funny because she was in on the joke.
Yeah. She's a very smart businesswoman.
Yeah,
she really is.
She is. She has made money her entire life when she didn't have to.
Good for her.
Right? Yeah.
She owns her brand. She's one of the first, as far as like women who are mechanically online type of a thing. Not precursors, but kind of like the start of reality TV fetishism, where a lot of times you don't own who you are. Like, she does. She 100% owned being Paris Hilton, and Paris Hilton, other people wanted to be Paris Hilton. She is a household name, no matter what, because of that time.
She was basically the first influencer, if you really think about it.
Yeah,
like, she was famous for doing nothing.
But you think about a lot of how, in what we have found out about what other women of the time went through, and how they were not in control, and they did not get to own their own lives.
Yeah.
And Paris Hilton was a pioneer. I know that's a weird thing that maybe to say, but she is. We don't find out a lot of stuff later on about like other women of the time and other women that had what they had to go through. And I always think of Elvira owning her own brand, but not a lot of people know that. And she still had to hide aspects of her life for the whole time. But Paris Hilton just got to be unapologetically Paris Hilton and profit off it, and good for her. I'm very pro Paris.
Yep.
And watching
I
Paris
love
die.
her.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, 'cause she's done quite a bit of horror. Like she hasn't done a lot of other movies, but she's done a lot of horror movies.
Yeah. She was in Repo.
And she was good in
She
Repo.
was, I liked her in Repo. And apparently, if you listen to the commentary, there was a lot of stories of her being like really awesome on set, bringing everyone sushi and stuff. And, you know, I like her.
And some weird movie that takes place in Ireland. Can't remember. Something about cats.
And the 9 Lives one.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. You're like Amazon encyclopedia.
You're gonna know it. You're gonna know it. It's actually the horror movie version of Cats, which is just Cats.
Which is just Cats.
No, that's Taylor
Yeah.
Swift.
Would never watch it. I'll watch 9 Lives though. Won't watch the live action version of modern Cats.
I ate an entire bag of edibles and saw cats on Christmas Day.
Yes, you did.
It was so
As
scary.
Jesus intended.
It was the most terrifying experience. I could not wait for
The
it to
trailer
end,
was
you know?
terrifying. Where I was like, "There's no way in God's green earth you would ever be able to pay me enough to
it
watch
was-
that."
I had to go to dinner with my husband's family, and I was destroyed. And I was just like, I just remember sitting there like looking at ham and being like, "What do I do with this?"
You go, magical mist in the summer Fridays. Shoved in your face.
Memories.
All alone in my
This
hand.
piggy.
You're gonna enter my mouth now.
Oh yeah, we're talking about a movie.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
get back to that.
Yeah.
But the 2000s, Dark Castle was making a lot of films. They were making a lot of things, especially remakes, which this also is. But you think of like 2K movies where it's a remake, but it goes so far. We already previously watched 13 Ghosts, where when you watch the original 13 Ghosts and you watch this, different plot, a lot of things, maybe not completely different, but it's its own movie in comparison to the original.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was a time when I believe this was Dark Castle's maybe 5th movie, and they poured a lot of money, and I don't think that they ever saw returns on pretty much any of them, including this one. But it was a time when there was a lot of buying up IPs just for the name, basically,
Yeah.
and putting another movie that you make with a CW cast and put it out. I think this one stands out because Juan Collet-Serra is a great director, and he's gone on, I think this was like his first film.
Really?
Yeah, I think he did music videos before this. I know he worked with like Enrique Iglesias and did a few things like that, but he's gone on to do some really cool stuff. I mean, he's a Disney boy these days, but he did The Orphan and Shallows.
Oh, no way.
Which,
okay.
To me, Shallows is one of those movies where you don't expect it to be as good as it is.
It's like Lively?
Yeah, that's a good movie. And Orphan is
Yeah.
a game changer.
I love Orphan.
Me too. So, you know, there was talent behind it from the start. There's still a lot of those goofy 2000s, the casting is very, we'll call it stunt casting, because
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call it.
Gotta have your pretty people
They're pretty people.
open with your new metal.
Oh, you know what though? I feel like a lot of people discovered like, Deftones and
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance through this movie.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the credits.
Well, maybe not. My Chemical Romance was already
Yeah, but there's a lot of, I mean, maybe if you're already into that stuff,
fair.
for introducing it to a mainstream audience, going to a big movie on, seeing.
I mean, music is such a heavy influence in 2K horror, and
For better or worse.
fair. But I mean, this soundtrack's great. Great enough that you own it.
Yeah, no, this
It's
was
a great soundtrack.
this soundtrack, this vinyl that she's holding up, if you're listening, was a record store day release the year my husband and I started dating. So it was like 2019.
Interesting.
And that came out, and something else came out at the same time. I want to say it was like Prom Night or something. Maybe that's wrong.
Oh, no, that's
No,
not
it was I Know What You Did Last Summer. Oh yeah, so it came out the same day as I Know What You Did Last Summer, and we went to 10 different record stores, like trying to nab both of the records. And I think that I Know What You Did Last Summer was the one we like really diehard wanted. But when we got them home, we're like, oh, House of Wax one is kind of better.
It's a good. You could hear it when you listening. Where like, a lot of them had that like hardcore, heavy with the Disturbed and all that. But I love the soundtrack for this, and not just because of My Chemical Romance.
And I think it came on the Coke Bottle Green, which is kind of one of my favorite vinyl colors.
Bottle green. Interesting.
It's
I like that.
like a clear, transparent, you know. But yeah, the music for this was a whole thing. I know we're skipping ahead here. So I know this movie is called House of Wax, and it's technically a remake of the 1953 movie. But I don't know about you guys, but it's like a direct remake of Tourist Trap, in my opinion.
I didn't even think about that until I rewatched it this last time, because obviously this theme has got me thinking of all these movies, and I didn't realize how, because even in Tourist Trap, aren't they brothers?
Yeah.
That's insane. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like every plot point is pretty much the same. They have car trouble, so then they break down and they have to go into this
Like,
town.
what is this? Let's just look at these weird mannequins.
Yeah. Minus the, like, is it telekinesis? Is that what you call it? Or whatever the
telepathy? Or wait.
where they move things.
Oh, yeah, telekinesis.
Yeah, like, I think that's, like, the only difference, but
yeah,
I don't know if that was, I've got to assume it was on purpose somewhere. Someone's, you know, kind of like how Violent Night, the movie that came out a year or so ago that Josh Miller wrote,
yeah.
like, that's pretty much, if you lay it on top of Die Hard, it's kind of the same movie.
Yeah.
And that was on purpose. Like, I know Josh has said publicly, but like this movie, you could lay it on top of Tourist Trap and it's beat for beat the same exact movie.
Yeah. No, it really, because there's even a Tourist Trap with the.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it'd be
that.
really fun to double feature those movies.
Oh my gosh, I want to do that. I'm going to watch Tourist Trap now because it's been a bit, but
they're both fun.
I
They're
love
both fun
Tourist Trap.
movies.
It's scary.
I know we already talked about Paris Hilton. Looking at the cover of House of Wax, like Paris Hilton, that is Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Everything on House of Wax is 100% Paris Hilton. They really were pushing her for this movie, which I love. And even though she's not the lead.
No.
She's not the Jennifer Love Hewitt. She's not the final girl. She is, and yet she's not the Drew Barrymore either. She gets to be a full-fledged part of this movie. And I really love that for her, and how they basically were like, we know what you're coming to see.
No, I mean, that's and I know we're not talking about that right now, but that's the thing about her and the character in this, is that people think, oh, Paris Hilton stunt casting. Yes, but she knew the assignment. She did her job. She did it well.
Yeah, as I said, she was the first person cast for this movie. It was built around her.
Yeah.
I think that the lead, Alicia
Cuthbert.
Yeah, her character, I think, was like the last person cast.
Oh.
Because they went after Jennifer Connelly, who I'm just like, wasn't she kind of too old for that role by that point?
Interesting.
She was like a grown woman, you know, in my head. But yeah, I know there was a few people. Oh, and Kate Winslet, I want to say, was up for this role.
Kate Winslet?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Okay.
I'm wondering if those casting out, I'm like, how long were they trying to make this movie? Because both of those, to me, were like a little too old for the role.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Alicia Cuthbert.
I like her. I had the hugest crush on her.
Oh my gosh.
I thought she was like the hottest woman in the planet at that time. She still is. She's beautiful. She's
Girl Next Door was a jam.
That was a thing. That was definitely a thing.
Loved that movie.
Well, if you have not seen House of Wax yet, it's hard to talk about this movie without going into spoilers, because one of the spoilers was actually how they marketed the movie of See Paris Die. So if you have not gone and see House of Wax yet, unfortunately, it is not streaming. So own it or rent it, but go watch House of Wax and do it with your friends, do it with a group. It's one of those movies that's definitely a nostalgia thing that is fun to watch with other people. Be like, are you serious? Trash treats. Get yourself a little trash treat.
It's definitely got a little bit of the what's the word I'm looking for?
Charm?
No, like a guilty pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure. But there's parts of it that hold to, honestly, if you separate it from when the movie came out and all the publicity around Paris, and you look at it for what it is without that, it's like a movie that has some visceral stuff to it. You can smell this movie, I swear.
The atmosphere and the effect. It's a brutal movie.
Yeah.
It's gross and brutal. And it's kind of one of those movies where you think the effects aren't going to they're not going to go as far as they actually do with a lot of the stuff. And especially that first scene, the intro scene with the kids.
Yeah.
You don't show their
brutal
faces, but it's, I'm the good one. I'm the bad one. And
the movie opens up 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Literally 50 years ago, which is crazy when I saw that. And I was just like, math. And then I was like, 50 years ago. But I do think it's funny that, I mean, of course we get this weird childhood thing, but then the first face we see is Paris.
Yeah.
She is the very first face, and between her and French fries, which I was like, those fries look real good. French fries are timeless.
Paris and French fries. What better night is there?
That is a sign of a true American movie.
And I mean, even with they, you know, of course, the character establishing drama and stuff, but things get a lot more fun when they start to go on their little trip.
Yeah.
I also like the sign. For some odd reason, when I watched it, I was like, children free.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. I'm totally down to go.
Children free. I'm there.
Yeah. You literally have me at there are no kids here, and I'm instantly like, let's go. I love this.
That's how to get your people there.
Yeah. If anyone is ever looking to trap me, apparently just there's no kids. I'm like, oh, done.
Yeah.
Thank
They don't
you.
want kids. They just want adults in their park. I mean, it's not a park, but you know what I mean.
Their attraction.
Their attraction.
Yeah. But no, it also said it was family friendly. I'll just ignore that part. The family friendly attraction.
Oh,
Like, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah. But when you actually get to the town of Ambrose, one other thing that I think does hold up and that I kind of like, because it doesn't seem to be the standard for a lot of the reality TV show and that we did see around that time, is that the guys are actually not the worst.
no, they're not.
Like,
I mean, there's a little bit slightly stereotypical, but they're not the worst. At
no,
all.
when she
No.
has to change her shirt, they all three of
Yeah.
them immediately go to block her
Yeah.
collectively, which I was like, good for y'all. Good for y'all. And like, yeah, of course they're douchey. I love when he goes, bless me, bro, or bless me, dog, to get the beer. And I'm just like, "Ugh, come on. But that was a thing. But the guys aren't bad. There is every single one of them, they have, of course, their qualities, but like, I would hang out with these guys and be like, yeah, you know what? They're my friends. Leave them alone.
Well,
The type of guys in a group where you just be like, I'm allowed to make fun of them, but you're not.
Well, and even Sam Winchester, like with sideswept bangs, Mr. Wade, which, by the way, that name Wade for his character, it just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Even he is supposed to be like the not, kind of cool guy. But then even later, her brother and Dalton, I think his name was, scary movie dude.
Dalton.
They're even like, yeah, I like him. Yeah, he's not so
No,
bad.
but that's the thing
Like,
he's mean. Chad Michael Murray, the brother character, he's mean to him. He's a dick to him, and because that's the thing he puts on. But when he's alone with his guy friend, he's like, no, shut up, I like him.
Yeah, he's not that bad.
Like the guys have redeeming qualities, in which that's not what everyone was seeing around the time. Is when when Jersey Shore was out?
Yeah.
This is when it was cool to suck. It was cool to be a douche.
Ryan's like, hold my beer. It comes out here. Actually,
Jim, Tim, laundry, Jim, Tim, laundry.
But that was the persona that they were putting on of like douchebag bros were in. But these guys weren't that. I actually was surprised. I thought when I rewatched this movie that they were gonna be people that you're like, yeah, kill them because they're the worst. But I was like, oh, damn it. Even he just wants to go to a football game. There's really nothing wrong. He's just, guys, you're behind schedule. I just want to go see the biggest game of the year. No one is awful in this movie, which is surprising.
I mean, there's a lot of melodrama. Oh, just moved to New York with me. Oh, I might be pregnant. Oh, Chad Michael Murray should be my boyfriend, not my brother.
she's not like
That was weird.
a bitch or anything.
Yeah.
She's just, there's just drama.
We gotta talk about though the Chad Michael Murray in the room.
Hey, Chad, come join us.
I wish.
Well,
That was
like,
great.
he
looks
was
amazing.
really good.
Yeah.
But the writing of this, and maybe it's just the chemistry that him and Carly
Alicia
had.
There was a couple times, like at one point he puts his arm out to talk to her and she's like in the crook of it kind
Yeah.
of thing, where I was like, that's not very sibling of y'all.
I'm just like, maybe they should have been like, he should have been her ex-boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
Because it feels a little romantic in a
There's
weird way.
It's supposed to be twins.
Yeah.
right?
But
Okay.
it's a weird vibe.
Is it
Yeah,
because
it's
they're
weird
both
to
pretty
say.
people?
No, but there's been some history. I don't know if maybe they wrote it in or maybe they cast for this, because like you do chemistry castings. So what, because she was last, maybe they didn't ever put her in the room with him. As soon as she got in, she was like,
Yeah.
which same girl, I get it. But they've done other things with twins. I mean, what the movie with Parker Posey and
House of
Yes. There we go. House of Wax, House of Yes. It felt a little House of
Well, that
Yes.
was supposed to be. But that's the thing. I'm just like, a quick little rewrite could have fixed that, and I wouldn't have had any questions. But
I actually, the first time I watched House of Yes, because my grandpa recorded all the blockbuster movies, and he had recorded that one, and I thought it was a horror movie. And so I watched it, and I was like, way too young to have watched that.
Wait, but did it instill like a love of Parker Posey the rest of your life?
No, I was
so
very
much.
afraid of her.
Wow.
The JFK scene was real weird, y'all. That was a lot. I was too young. I was way too young to have watched that and was very confused and like, did not understand. I think I felt like Freddie Prinze Jr. a lot of it, of just being like on the side. Like, I don't understand that, but I thought it was going to be a horror movie, and it was scary. But yeah, so when I watched this, I got a little bit of that vibe between the two of them. But it's okay. It's hard when you're just too many beautiful people in one cast.
I
The
know.
chemistry is just off the charts.
How do you not?
It's that CW casting of just like everyone's beautiful,
You need someone from Supernatural in one of these movies at the time.
right?
But I will say, for as much as people gave Josh Hartnett's hair, they should have given equal amount of shit to Jared Padalecki's face, because that was atrocious.
Face?
That goatee.
Oh, he had a goatee in it?
Yeah,
Wait.
but he had a goatee for someone who like can't grow facial hair goatee.
Oh, is it because my vision's so bad I didn't notice it? Is it like one of those
It's
like subtle?
No, but it's the whole thing, and they
Wait,
make a point of
what?
it later on because of
They
like for his
wax-
kill.
I need a picture because how did I miss the entire goatee of it all?
Oh,
No, it's
girl.
it's an awful goatee.
what the?
It's brutal.
fuck?
But I mean, did they only do it for the scene of him getting waxed later? Because we're already in spoilers, it's fine. But part of me was like, was this the only reason it was there? Because I hope so. Because
it
it's
has to be.
awful.
It
Yeah.
has to be.
It's so bad.
They're like, okay, Jared, you're gonna need to grow a goatee, and he's like,
Because he looks
okay.
very pretty once he's a wax man.
No eyebrows, no nothing. Yeah.
And then he starts growing it out, and they're like, Jared, we have a problem.
I will take Josh Hartnett's bangs over Jared Padalecki's goatee.
Wow,
anyway.
the fact that I didn't even notice it.
That's a hot take.
It's dirty. He looks dirty.
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah,
looks
he has the
grimy.
baby goatee.
He looks like he should wear a trucker
Yep.
hat.
Like he just hit puberty and he just realized what facial hair was.
Actually-
God, he's so adorable.
It's fine.
But that aside, the only guys that suck, I guess, in this movie are our villains. So it works out.
Yeah.
Um,
And even one of them I kind of feel bad for.
Mm-hmm. Another sympathetic character. Well, not
Well,
sympathetic, but
yeah, I
another
did.
product of just growing up, kind of.
Yeah.
his parents
Yeah.
were obviously not
yeah.
the best.
That's what I meant.
Trudy had some damage
Yeah.
before the brain cyst.
Mm-hmm.
She was brutal. She was a brutal bitch.
Damn you, Trudy.
But okay, so the town of Ambrose essentially is where we start to see all these really great practical effects. And I think that I want to go to that town. I want to touch the wax house.
Oh,
I want to
yeah.
touch everything in it. I want to get my grimy little mitts all over that. Viscerally, you can feel that wax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it also did feel to me a little bit, maybe not 13 Ghosts, but like House on Haunted Hill with the
Yeah.
architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought that small little town was so fun. I would go to that tourist attraction
Mhm.
instantly. The way that they have that 1950s small town aesthetic and down to the church and everything
Yeah.
is really, really cool. And I love how much work was put into building that set.
Oh yeah, tons.
Mm-hmm.
But even before we get there, when we see the roadkill pit,
Oh, God.
it is so gross.
It's so gross.
And even just like when they're in the car with the guy and they're just like, can you open a window? And it's I can smell it. I swear.
Every
it's
time,
so gross.
what's that smell? What's that
Ugh.
smell? Ooh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh.
It's dead bodies. Also, that's like a lot of dead animals.
It's
I
a
know that
lot.
they're like, oh, I collect them, but that's too many.
It's a
Y'all need
lot.
some stop signs
Mhm.
or something. That's too many. You need one
Yeah.
of those nice little nature paths that go over.
I feel like that character is just like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Like he fills that void.
Yeah.
He does. He's good at it, though.
Yeah.
He's good at being
Right.
the red herring and the swarminess of.
Swarmy.
Oh,
Word of
no,
the day.
he's not swarmy. He's not swarmy. He's creepy. He's dirty. He's creepy and dirty. But like,
He's
I
a little
felt bad
Weasley.
for
The
him.
bringer of the people.
Well, it's interesting that I can't think of that actor's name, but he's actually gone on to have a really big career. Like,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
in
yeah?
a lot of stuff. Yeah, he's
Is
in
he
everything.
on the...
No, because his
Oh.
character name was literally like
Driver
Roadkill
man
driver
of
guy.
Roadkill.
Yeah.
But no, he is good in it. And I feel bad for him. I think that they're being mean to him in the beginning.
Yeah, they're being snobby.
Yeah. And he's being so nice, and he's offering them a lift. What is his name? His name is Damon Harriman.
Okay. I did not know that.
But I do think I personally also don't want to go to wax museum. I find them super creepy no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
The faces in this wax museum were upsettingly creepy.
They were real.
What do they call like Uncanny Valley or
Yeah,
something?
they were the teeth. It's like why when you look at AI, you're like, why is this so wrong?
The teeth.
Yeah.
It's the teeth and the eyes, and these were like super wrong. But the practical effects for this film are awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I mean it's literally considered one of the best practical effects of a horror movie of all time.
When they start to, I mean, we can just skip to when it starts to go crazy, because I think the best part of it starting to go crazy.
Oh yeah, it's kind of a slow burn. It's a long movie.
It's
2 hours.
It is. It's a really long
but
movie.
once shit hits the fan, it hits the fan.
Yeah, because and it's after. We'll say love that 2000s really liked murdering people's ankles, which is such a thing for me when the first time I remember, because it's
Urban Legend.
Urban Legend that's a big one.
Saw.
Yeah. And then this with as soon as the knives come out, I was like, rip his tendons. Oh
I
God.
did a Pet Cemetery with that too.
Yeah, Pet Cemetery was another one.
Don't do well with the ankle cutting.
Yeah, that's a favorite. That's a horror favorite, because it completely it's your
Yeah, your
Achilles tendon.
heel.
But I like that started to ramp it up. But I think where it felt instantly this is a horror movie is she runs into town, and the town is going.
Oh, when you find out they're all wax.
Yeah, and she's just running around in the center, and it's like spinning around her. I love that scene. It's not like a shot, but I love the way that they did that.
Yeah.
Was like, and now we are going absolutely nuts.
Like she goes in the church, she's like, help me. And then she looks, and they're just
like,
all wax figures.
And she breaks the arm off.
Yeah.
And that's when we see that it's an arm underneath. But I do also love that in this movie, it wasn't all fresh. They had various degrees of mummification, because some of the ones in later on when they break in, let's say, like the movie theater, when they blow the head, it's dust.
Right.
Yeah.
And the mummification of the attendant, what do they call them? Usher?
The usher? Yeah.
His mummification versus some of the more fresh ones that were like the one in the church was like, that could have been within the last 6 months.
Right.
It was still red.
Yeah.
Versus the dusty mummification. So the fact that they've been doing this for a really long time, since their mom died and they went crazy, unless their mom was a part of it, who knows where this was fully triggered. But the care that put into it, and then of course letting us see the fun process he goes through to make these monsters was so nice of them.
I was gonna say, Wade's that whole sequence is a fate worse than death.
It's so brutal.
It's traumatizing. Like, to watch it, it's hard to watch. It's just being paralyzed, but you're feeling it, and you're just crying in the eyes, and oh my gosh, it's so sad. Did not deserve that.
The waxification of the hot melted wax that is burning into his skin while he is still alive, but the fact that he survives it, so that we get that incredibly beautiful scene.
Poor Dalton. I'll save you, man.
I got you,
I'll
buddy.
I know. Oh man,
He's trying, but I mean,
it's so sad.
I do love though when the slice happens and his eyes roll up.
Yes!
It's like that's too
It's so
much.
cool.
It's so well done. It's just big house of beautiful bodies for me. So I love this movie. But then even later on with Dalton's death, where Chad Michael Murray, Nick tries to get him out, and it twists his head off.
Sad.
Oh,
That's
so
really
sad.
sad, because you feel like
Dalton's the one that gets the daggers.
Yeah.
Those daggers are cool.
Oh, and then
Some epic daggers, but why?
Oh
Why
my
were they
gosh.
so cool and then we never get to kill it? It was
they
like
needed
one and
it
done.
for that the burning moment.
Yeah, but we could have gotten more with them. I don't understand. They look like ritual daggers.
Yeah,
and then
they were awesome.
never came back.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys notice that the movie in the theater was
Whatever
happened to Baby Jane?
Yeah, which is about two feuding sisters.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
They put a lot of thought into the little parts of this movie.
Yeah.
But I will say that I think the reason that Dalton's death is so visceral and epic is also because Chad Michael Murray's acting in that moment is, for some odd reason, I was like, why is this so good? Why is your reaction so good? I forget sometimes. I'm like, you were like, good job, bro.
Because he barely reacted, which is why it was kind of effective, because he was just like
because he was
had to
holding
turn
everything
away.
in,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he has
'Cause
to. But I think he was amazing in that. I did also love the movie theater, because that's when we started to, I think that's when the rest of the town is very like, they started, and now all the other bodies that he's filling in are the movie theater, and it's more people that look very modern and with the
Yeah.
times. versus everyone else. And then he goes in and he's literally counting the corpses because he knows how many dead bodies that there are.
Mhm.
It's everything from that you think with like serial killers. I mean, they know how many people they've killed, but then the ones that are also when they do the interviews and they're like, I don't know, I lost track. I just love killing. But I thought that was really effective. Like the more waxified corpses we saw, just the better it got. Because every single one was made with a purpose.
Yeah.
And the amount of effort that they put into this movie and this whole entire town. God, I mean, I wish it was still there. I just want to go. I just really want to go to the house. I want to go to Ambrose.
Scrape it with my fingernail.
Ugh. But this, as far as the serial killer duo goes, they are really interesting because Bo is really the actor. He's really good at portraying the gleeful side of how much he loves it without it being over the top.
Yeah.
His little smile when he cuts off her fingertip is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrifying, but like in a really, really good way. I think that he does. I don't know. I was very shocked when rewatching this of how well acted it is for a 2K horror movie. I was like, damn, guys, good job. You put your all into this. Another death that we haven't talked about that everyone talks about, and I actually misremembered for some reason.
I did too. It's like a Mandela effect. Like I thought
Yeah,
it happened in the tent.
I thought it happened outside the tent. I thought it was their car.
Yeah, I thought it was really fast though, and I didn't remember she had a whole running.
Oh, she had a
Chasing-
sequence. She had like, I know what you did last summer sequence.
I just
Like,
didn't remember it that way. It's
Where she
crazy.
found the
She's
Nokia
good.
phones. The only part of the movie that doesn't track though. Is
Yeah.
the Nokia phones because one of them would have worked.
Yeah.
Those things are going to outlive cockroaches.
But yeah, she like, she's running through the sugar mill or whatever, and when he's like stabbing up. bleh.
Mm. More feet shit. Stabbing up through the grates, which also is fair. Like
Ooh.
that instills another fear in me of going on over those things.
Around that time, it's like body parts were the thing because you got like black Xmas with the eyes.
Yes.
You have like, this with the feet.
I can't wait for Christmas.
I know.
But yeah, I am assuming they probably gave Paris some tears. They looked very,
Hey, you know
they looked
what?
very like dabbled on
She
there.
was convincing with it.
Yeah,
she
she
could have been
good.
a lot worse.
But the kill itself was great because I will say Blake's death was quick, but the step, like when he was already down, I was like, oh, they took it, but then they gave it a little back with him stepping on the knife and
Yeah.
the swish.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's rough. So I was
Yep.
glad for that because I was like, oh, I want more for him. But
They
he
always
got
have a
it.
button with these kills in this movie. There's always like a little bit of a button. and
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Everything in this movie was very well thought out.
But her like pipe through the head, you're just like,
Oh.
oh my god.
And
Watch
the
Paris die.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You do.
You get to watch her die. You get to
Yeah.
watch him take the camcorder and film over her head with some. You can't tell me this wasn't planned out.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
You can't.
If I were in a movie and I had a death, I'd be like, I need that death. That is the death that I want
It's
in
a-
this movie.
But you
And,
know what? I believe there's parts that are cut out. Like it was an extended sequence that they had to cut out to get their rating.
Do you think they'd be in the extra features?
It's gotta be. It's
I
gotta
wanna see
be.
it.
That's
VOD.
what I thought. Am I thinking of Friday the 13th 4 or do they? Because I remember her head sliding down.
does.
before.
It does.
Oh, okay,
He
so I
pushes
did see
it
that.
down.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought I saw.
Yeah,
that.
it's got some phallic imagery there.
Yeah. But the other deaths are really great too, because after everyone else, it's just our villains, and their deaths are almost, I think it's kind of beautiful we find out Bo is actually the bad twin the whole time. He is the psycho with the scars that we only get to see
Yeah.
briefly earlier. And you think it's going to be the deformed one, but no, Bo is the one that got to keep his pretty face. And poor Vincent, the artist, is the tortured,
Mhm.
which sadly I think was the only time that they really use CGI, and it does not hold up.
No.
It's the
but-
worst, but thank
At
God they
least
saved
it's
it for
only
the
time.
end.
Yeah.
But getting to have Bo's pretty face messed up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just the one side, so now he actually matches his twin.
Yeah.
He's sinking into the staircase while Bo is sinking into the ground. Like they do a lot of these like where you almost feel like maybe Vincent's gonna live, or Vincent's gonna, feel like, oh, my brother's dead, I can finally stop, but that's not gonna happen. And then in the end, he's conjoined in death as they were in birth. Even the scene where he's cutting through the door and he cuts through the conjoined babies, I was like,
yeah.
the visuals in this is
It's cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of
No.
twin and sibling
All
stuff.
the like
Yeah.
stages of melting in this scene is so cool. But also watching the scene during a heat wave is another experience because then you really feel it.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to live in Los
read-
Angeles right now.
Somewhere they use peanut butter for the wax.
Peanut butter.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh my God, I would have been hungry all day.
That dog
I'd
probably-
be dead.
You would be dead. You can't go to that
I
set.
know you would have.
But I bet was a dog just running around on set just being like,
I know. How did they get that dog to sit still?
the whole thing is peanut butter. This is
Oof.
literal torture
That
for
was
me.
his heaven. That was literally his candy land.
There was also some drama with they burned down a set by accident in a test.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I guess the effects company got sued by, is it Warner Brothers? I want to say, yeah, Warner Brothers, for $7 million
Oh my gosh.
because of like an open flame during a test, and
Wow.
yeah. So, but I mean, it's all practical, so it's kind of
No,
worth it.
it's a little, you know what? For what they accomplished, I
Yeah.
would say if they have the
Yeah.
money, it's worth it.
Right?
Let's kill Paris Hilton, guys.
I know.
got it.
I mean, if you think about it, it's a very misogynistic movie in
Yeah.
that respect. If she wasn't in on it, more so.
yes.
But we'll say it's of its time, as we do about a lot of things. We'll give it the
Absolutely.
pass.
Yes. I mean, I'd hope that Paris was in on this and maybe
No, she
if-
was 100%.
No, but like some of the things where she said like you said, like, oh, that what the camcorder and stuff like that. Even if she says that she wasn't, I do hope that they didn't spring that on her.
I think from what I read in interviews is that when she was asked about it, 'cause she was asked a lot,
Yeah.
she said that it was in the script before, she read it in the script before real life happened. And so she said it was already there. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Okay.
Either way, she doesn't seem too
They
distraught about it.
got
Yeah.
her permission for absolutely everything, for the marketing. She 100% said yes. She was in on it. The See Paris Die t-shirts that they originally released,
Oh.
they got her permission. They licensed that
Oh, I
shit.
want
She
it
made
so
money
bad.
off of it.
Good for her.
Yeah, there was never a point where she was exploited without her permission. So
Yeah.
Which is how it should be.
we got to mention the end of the movie because they're like, oh, there's actually 3 brothers, dun dun dun,
Oh,
and they kind of like leave it open. And there was discussions up until 2020, so this was 4 years ago, with the writers. I think I want to say they're brothers too, the Hayes brothers.
Okay.
Oh, his name actually is Chad and Carrie Hayes.
Oh.
Yeah.
They said that they did float an idea of a prequel, and the studio's response was box office numbers weren't big enough, but over time, this movie has grown and grown in cult following. They've still been trying to get it made up until about 4 years ago with no
Wow.
success. So, I mean, who knows?
Interesting.
It could happen at some point.
How is it open-ended? He's literally at the very end, the guy that you think is just the red herring, but he turns out he definitely is the brother because he's sitting there with the dog. How is that open-ended? He has Vincent's dog next to him.
No, I'm not saying it's open. It's open to making another movie.
Oh, I thought you were like, people didn't know that he was the third brother. And I was
No,
like, what?
no.
They very clearly are like, it's this guy.
No, they left it open to make more.
Got it. Okay. I
But
was like,
I think this movie, they call it a financial disappointment. I think if there wasn't the giant marketing budget, because there was a huge marketing budget, like I want to say they spent $10 million on Super Bowl ads.
Wow.
If they didn't have that, it would have made its money back.
Wow.
I think maybe they weren't hitting their core audience, their target audience.
I
with
mean,
the Super Bowl
it's
ads.
one of those
Time.
things of the time. You know, it's what's the I Knew Who Killed Me with Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, yeah.
It was another thing where the press and publicity around the actress outweighed whatever was going on in
Yep.
the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's since been revisited without that sort of drama, and people have recognized that it's good without that. It's the same with this movie. You know, it took people who were like, oh, fuck Paris Hilton, I don't want to see that. And now years later, and when I research, I go on Reddit threads and I deep dive into this stuff, and people are saying that. They're like, I didn't watch it when it came out because of Paris, because I didn't
Yep.
like her. And now I've watched it and this movie rules. So it's like that. And it's kind of sad, but here we are.
That's
And yeah.
Well, I mean, I can admit that when Paris was popular and her and Nicole Richie, that I was like, I would never watch that show. I hated everything that was like, because I was like, I hate that type of girl. But now, you know what? I didn't know better. And there is, like you mentioned, that little bit of maybe a little bit of women hating other women because you didn't want someone who was outside of the same box as you, but you also didn't like people who were inside of the same box as you because
Yeah.
for some odd reason during that time, every woman was competing with every other woman. And it sucks. But that show also gave us Kesha, and I love that little trash heap. She is the
I love
best.
her.
Yeah.
And this is definitely, this was my pick for the haunted attraction series.
I wonder if our listeners can decide who chooses what movies every month.
It's no longer going to be a surprise for me at least, but for everything else.
Because usually, if you haven't noticed our algorithm yet, we choose usually one new movie and we base our theme around that. And this one we went a little off because there wasn't anything we were too excited about in theaters. But yeah, we usually one new movie and each one of us gets to pick one. So let's see if you guys can figure out who chooses what.
If you enjoyed this episode, we have a Patreon where you can find uncut episodes. We have bonus content on there. We have a lot of stuff that I'm sure you'll be interested in. Let's just put it that way. So you can find us there on Patreon.
Follow us on our socials. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have YouTube Shorts, and in there you get the horror news, you get the reviews, the trailer watches, and basically anything that pertains to the world of horror.
So make sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell.
And until next time, sweet screams, everybody.
And whatever you do,
Don't fall asleep first.
'Cause you get wax in your butthole.